I think fans are more nervous in games like these than the players, because it's in the players' hands. They get to play. They get to work off their nervousness. And we've seen players the last 2 days. We were on the plane flight with them, and then we crossed paths in the hotel. Nobody has his head down. Nobody's chin is dragging on his chest. I mean, nobody likes to be in this situation, but they are. Now they have to accept it, and they have to move on. Now, if they put their tail between the legs and don't play well today, then their season will be over. But, I mean, how many 3-game winning streaks have the Yankees had? Now, in defense of the A's, they've won 17 straight games here at Network Associates Coliseum. They've won 31 out of their last 35 games. This is a great baseball team. So winning 3 in a row against the A's in situations like these, not going to be easy. But, again, it can be done. But the Yankees are going to have to get great pitching from Mussina today, El Duque tomorrow, and then whomever on Monday. Either Clemens starts or Andy Pettit starts, but you know, on that Monday, everybody is going to be used. And the Yankees could kind of see it opening up for them, too. Cleveland's 1 win away from beating Seattle. 1 win away from upsetting a team that won 116 games. Now, the winner of this series, if the Indians end up winning that one, they have to win 1 out of the next 2. Well, they have an easier path to the World Series than they thought they would have. The Yankees have had difficulty with Seattle all year, but they handled Cleveland very well. They beat Cleveland in the season series, but again, that is so much in the future that the Yankees have to win this game before they can even think about winning tomorrow's game, before they can think about winning Monday's game, before they can think about playing in the ALCS. So a lot of what-ifs happening for the Yankees, but it all starts tonight. Well, tonight's first pitch delivery brought to you by UPS, Ground Overnight International at myups.com. And here to deliver that first pitch as well as the play-by-play for the first 4, John Sterling. And a good evening, John.
Well, Michael, good evening to you and everyone on the Yankees radio network. Here's Chuck Knobloch to lead it off. And the left-hander Zito deals high fastball, 1-0.
5-0-3.
Knobloch is 3 for 8 in the series and lifetime 0 for 4 against the lefty Barry Zito. Chavez in at third to guard against a bunt. The 1-0 is another fastball high in the count 2-0. Zito fastball, changeup, and curve. It's late afternoon here in Oakland. It is 5 in the afternoon, and the sunshine is still out brilliantly. Here's the 2-0. There's a fast strike. 3 straight fastballs to Knobloch. And the count 2-1. Oakland outfield plays straight away for Knobloch. Yankees are dying for a run. Now the 2-1 swung on and pop foul straight back here. And the count 2-2. Yankees in a must-win. And if they win, they play tomorrow. If they lose, the season's over. And Oakland goes to the ALCS. The pitch is swung on, hit on the ground to short. Tejada boots it. It went off his glove, rolled behind him. So Knobloch is on. That is the second time in this series he started the game and reached on an error. The first game he reached on an error by Menechino. Tejada is very much of a one-hand shortstop, and that time he put the glove down. The ball hit off, I guess, the heel of his glove and ticked away.
You know, he was charging, which is very odd, John, to charge one-handed like that. He's charging the ball, and I think he peeked up for a moment, just like what Brocious did in Game 2 in the 9th inning when an extra run scored. I think he looked to see where Knobloch was if he really had a hurry, and when he took his eye off the baseball, he just let it go underneath his glove. So that's an E6 to start it off.
Now let's see if Soriano will bunt. And you'd say, well, why would he? Because the Yankees need to get a lead. They need to get a run. Now the left-hander Zito is set. Knobloch a short lead. The pitch is bunted and popped in the air right to first. So he was bunting, and he bunted it right to Giambi, one away.
Well, you said that they were going to do that, and that's exactly what they did, although Soriano's not a great bunter. And he popped it up. So the thought was good, but the execution was not.
Story was 2 for 7. in the series and 1 for 5 lifetime off Zito. Here's Jeter, who's been the Yankees' offensive star. He is 5 for 8 in the playoffs, and lifetime he's 4 for 9 with a home run off Barry Zito. 1 on, 1 out. So Soriano tried a bunt, and what he wanted to do was push the bunt past the mound, have a chance to beat it out, but he blooped it right in the air to Giambi, the easiest out Giambi will ever record. The pitch to Jeter, caught on a miss, to change away, and the count 0-1.
All we've heard is how you can run on Hernandez, John. Every time Knobloch's got on, he really has not taken off.
No, he stayed very close to the base, and he's staying close right now against the left-hander Zito. And Barry deals, swung on, and popped up to shallow right. Menachino out, Dye in, and Dye makes the catch. As Menachino got out of the way, 2 down. You know, normally I give you numbers on the pitcher so you can see how many hits they give up or, walks and all. But with Barry Zito, in the first half of the year, he was 6-7, an ERA 5.01. Give up 5 runs a game. In the second half of the year, which is much more important, because that's how he's pitching now, he was 11-1 and an ERA of 1.32. Boy, talk about all the offense in baseball. There wasn't a lot of offense when Barry Zito was pitching. In his last 13 starts, 11-1. So I'll give you his numbers overall at some point, but this is as hot a pitcher as there is in baseball. Bernie Williams takes a strike. Fastball to knees on the outside, and Hernandez trots out the mound. Overall, Zito 17-8, an ERA 3.49. 35 games and starts, 214 innings, 184 hits. So 30 less hits than innings pitched, which is great. He walked 80. That's about 3.5 per 9 innings. He struck out 205, about a 2.5 to 1 ratio. The league at 230 off him with 18 home runs. And a throw to first, and Knobloch is back. He was standing on the base. Bernie is not having a great playoff. He is 1 for 8. At lifetime, he's 0 for 6 off Zito.
Bernie's one contribution was beating out that double play ground ball in Game 1. Not allowed Tino Martinez to get a swing. He hit a 2-run home run off Mussina.
That'll be an 0-1 to Bernie. The pitch is caught on a missed breaking ball. The count 0-2. Bernie's hit was in the 9th inning off Jason Isringhausen, batting left-handed. He hit a ground ball toward third off the glove of Chavez for a double. It'll be an 0-2. Now time is called.
Well, they certainly have the home field advantage today, John. A very loud crowd.
It is, and the stands here are way away from the field, but they're still making an awful lot of noise, a racket. Throw to first, and Knobloch is back. That must be called from the dugout because Knobloch was on the bag. St. Louis beat Arizona 4-1, 5th and final in Arizona tomorrow. Kurt Schilling against Matt Morris. Schilling beat Morris and the Cards 1-0 in the first game. Now Zito deals. Caught on a miss. Struck him out swinging. No runs, no hits, 1 error, 1 left. At the end of a half, Yankees nothing, and the A's coming to bat. Johnny Damon leads off for the A's. Here on the bottom of the first. I don't know if it's as noisy at home as it is here, but I'm shouting.
It's loud.
And I don't think we could hear each other if we didn't have headsets on. Damon, a left-hand hitter, has terrorized the Yanks. He's 6 for 9. Power and speed, and Mussina deals a fast strike. The way the Yankees are hitting, and if you want to turn it around, the way Oakland is pitching, Mike Mussina better be pitching the game of his life today. He also has been great down the stretch. It'll be an 0-1 to Damon, and the breaking ball is low. Damon lifetime has good numbers off Mussina. He is 12 for 40 with a home run. In fact, the A's have a bunch of guys who have good numbers off Mike. Mussina was 17 and 11, and his numbers are better than that. The pitch to Damon, cut on a miss, a fastball away. You know, Mike, there are still shadows between the mound and home plate, so it would behoove Zito and Mussina to throw a lot of fastballs.
And also center field is in the sun, so that means your arm and the ball is coming out of the sunlight. It's very difficult for a hitter.
That'll be a 1-2 to Damon, and the pitch is just outside. And the count 2-2. It'll be Damon, Tejada, and Jason Giambi here in the bottom of the first. No score.
Mussina likes this mound. 8-4, 3.38 at Network Associates Coliseum.
Now the 2-2. Rammed right to Tino on a hop. He goes to the bag and touches up one away. And Mike, even though he made out, Damon hit the ball hard again. He has had a terrific series.
You know, he wore Tino out in the second game. You know, he had 4 hits in the first game, but in the second game, he had 3 hard ground balls just like that to Martinez. So the Yankees are getting him to pull the ball. And in the first game, the ball got through, but this time, or the last couple times, Tino speared it.
Well, one away. Here's the shortstop, right-hand hitting Miguel Tejada. He is 2 for 9 in the playoffs with an RBI. Good numbers off Mussina lifetime. He's 4 for 11 with 2 home runs. A right-hand hitter with a lot of power. Mussina deals. Hit on the ground. Broken bat to third. Roches boots it. Fields, throws, got him 2 away. Roches booted it all right, but the barrel of the bat was sailing past him. But he kept it in front of him, picked it up, and threw out Tejada. And there are 2 down. Later, I'll give you Mussina's numbers, but like Zito, he finished with a kick in 6 of his last 7 starts. Mussina gave up 1 run or less. So that's how good he pitched. Now, 2A, here is Jason Giambi. He's 1 for 6, a long home run for the 1 hit in the playoffs. Homer, 2 RBIs. He's also 1 for 6 lifetime against Mussina. A big left-hand hitter, the bellwether of the Oakland attack. 2 outs, no one on. The pitch. Strike is called, a change to the count 0-1.
Last 2 days here in San Francisco and Oakland, you keep reading stories about how they're pleading with the Oakland A's to sign Jason Giambi, but I think they want to sign him, but I don't know if they're going to be able to afford him. I mean, he's having another MVP season.
It'll be an 0-1. Caught on a miss. High fastball on the count 0-2. Giambi takes some time out of the box. The Yankees play him a couple of steps toward right. Bernie is deep in center. Spencer in the sun field in right field. Deep and playing about straightaway right. Giambi hits the ball to all fields with power, obviously. It'll be an 0-2. Strike 3, fastball outside corner. So Mussina has a 1-2-3. And at the end of 1 inning of play, no score. And that they do. Here's Tino, the only lefty hitter in the lineup. So lefty to lefty, Zito deals, and he hits him. Tino couldn't get out of the way. He unbuckles his ankle strap, a shin guard, really, and walks to first. Well, when he was doing that, I thought he was looking at the mound. We're a long way. But, you know, I would tell Tino, gee, you really think he's going to hit you to lead off an inning? I don't think so. So Tino gets hit by a pitch. Where did it hit him, Mike? We don't have a monitor in front of us.
I think he got him the shoulder blade of the left arm, or the right arm.
Yeah, it did. I just looked at it, too.
I think that's what annoyed Tino, was up in him.
Yeah. However, I mean, Zito was just trying to pitch him inside. Here's Posada with a runner on, and the pitch is high, 1-0. Posada's 3 for 7 in the series. He had a very poor at-bat in the 9th inning in Game 2 on Thursday. Yankees were down 2-0, 2 on and no one out, and Posada took a call, third strike, looking breaking ball. The pitch is inside, and it's not a knock against Georgie, but it looked like he was trying to hit the ball out. You know, then the Yankees really needed a base hit. Posada is 0 for 8 lifetime off Zito. He's ahead on the count 2-0. Tino leads, no threat to go. And they play Posada straight away. Now the left-hander deals. Caught on a miss on a high fastball. And the count 2-1. The Yankees are desperate for a lead. Not that if you get a 1-0 or 2-0 lead, that's the game, but just to play with a lead.
73 innings against the A's without a lead. 73 straight innings.
The pitch is high, change. Count 3-1. You want to see something unusual, Mike? Terrence Long, who's in the shadows, the left fielder, is pulled over near the line. Now, this is a very big outfield, and you seldom see an outfielder play that close to the line. So he really thinks Posada can pull Zito. The center fielder, Johnny Damon, is straightaway. The right fielder, Jermaine Dodd, is straightaway. It'll be a 3-1 to Posada. Zito holds the set and deals. Swung on, hit on the ground hard to third. Should be 2. Go to second 1. On to first, double play.
Not a good throw by Chavez, and Menachino had to come off the bag. He kept his foot on long enough to get the force, and then actually ran toward the pitcher's mound to get out of the way of Tino, and he was able to have all that time to do that because Posada's not fast. So 5-4-3 around the horn double play.
You know, sometimes you don't get the breaks either. And Posada had a 3-1 pitch. He got the pitch he wanted. He hit it as hard as you could. He pulled it. What did he do? He hit it right to Chavez, who started an easy 5-4-3. Now here's Shane Spencer, and he takes a pitch low outside, but called a strike and a count 0-1. Spencer hasn't played yet this series. Zito deals, and the breaking ball's low. During the regular season, Shane at 258, 10 homers, 46 RBIs, and 143 lifetime off Barry Zito. So there are 2 outs and no one on. The 1-1 is changed low outside 2-1. Well, Mike, he got the pitch he wanted. He was up 3-1, and he hit it hard, but you can't guide the baseball. And he rammed it hard and right at Chavez to start an easy double play. It'll be a 2-1 from the left-hander, and Zito deals. Strike, fastball outside corner, 2-2.
They're not complaining, John, but this is one series where the Yankees have not gotten the ball to fall in. They have not gotten the breaks. All the games they have in the past, but not this series.
The 2-2, struck him out, swinging change. No runs, no hits, no errors, and no one left. And at the end of an inning and a half, no score.
Welcome back to Oakland. No scores. The A's come to bat here in the bottom half of the second inning against Mike Mussina, who retired the side in order. In the Oakland first, Jermaine Dye takes a breaking ball in the dirt. Coming your way tomorrow, Game 5 from Phoenix, Arizona, between the Cardinals and the Diamondbacks. Matt Morris and Curt Schilling will lock up. And what a game that figures to be. Those two matched up in Game 1 of that series, and Schilling outdueled Morris 1-0 the final.
Yeah, baby.
A catch in the boot by none other than Steve Psycho Lyons.
And I had to save you again, too. It's unbelievable how I have to reach over and save you every time.
Guilty as charged, brother. That's a big-time play.
Yeah, but now I can see what you were talking about, bouncing off a monitor there and hitting you in the lips.
What I mean, I learned my lesson, strangely enough, at Shea Stadium in New York. Tried to reach over to catch one, hit the monitor out of my reach, and right back in the old nose. That felt good.
And I can see the permanent damage that it left.
On the ground, Jeter plays a high hop. And a throw in time to get Jermaine Dye. 1 away, 4 up and 4 down to start the game from Mussina, which should come as no surprise. He has been, along with Zito, on top of his game over the second half of the season. I mean, both have been phenomenal.
And he almost always is. He says you kind of go one of 2 ways after you get around 200 innings as a pitcher. And he says for him, it seems like he starts to get stronger and has more command of his pitches once he gets into that area.
Now Chavez. And that one swung on and fouled back out of play. And some of you may be wondering, you've heard him called Chavez. And we asked him about it, and he said he doesn't really mind either way. He said, but his father has always pronounced the family name Chavez. So you always want to honor mom and dad. And Eric, we're going to do the same for your dad.
Your dad says that's the way it is. That's the way it is. Well, I'm sweating after that. I feel like I made my very first postseason putout.
Well, you did. Low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. I mean, I've been sitting up here with you for crying out loud for 22 weeks. You've been kicking them all over the league.
Oh,
but now,
man,
on the biggest stage, you come up with a play. One-two pitch. On the ground at Jeter. They had him played that way. Just to the third base side of second. 2 up, 2 down. Mussina has pitched very well in a couple of starts against the A's here in Oakland.
And you know, watch the way Jeter has this ball played. He's way up the middle. Now Jeter still has the bad left hamstring, so he will shade himself much more up the middle than he normally would. Plus, he's got Brocious over at third that still has great range and can cover some ground, but Jeter can't cover as much ground with the bad leg. So he'll shade himself up the middle more often than not, because a lot of the balls over there in the 6 hole between the third baseman and the shortstop are going to be hits anyway.
Taken high, 1-0 to Jeremy Giambi, getting his second start of the series. 1 hit in 5 at bats. He has a double as his only hit. 12 home runs during the regular year, and 57 batted in. Swing and a miss. Started to talk about Mussina. His first start out here, he went 6 innings, allowed 3 earned runs. His last start here, he went 8 innings and never once pitched out of the stretch. Not one time. Allowed 2 hits, both of them solo home runs. In fact, they came by Tejada and Chavez. But he had to leave the game tied at 2. Mike Stanton gave it up, allowing a home run off the bat of Jason Giambi in a 4-2 Oakland win.
It's amazing to think that you could go through an entire game and never pitch out of the stretch and give up 2 runs.
1-2 on Jeremy Giambi. Swung on and fouled back out of play. And Art Howe said that to us yesterday. I'm thinking, now I already know I'm a dummy, and I feel dumber now, because I'm trying to figure out what he's talking about. Never pitched out of his stretch. And they said, well, now you get it figured out.
Yeah. Well, for some people, it takes a little longer. Yeah. I'll tell you, though, Tom, in the games that we've seen, in the games we've watched on TV as well throughout these playoffs, we've seen classic ability of pitchers to be able to get inside on hitters. And everybody will tell you, every pitching coach around the league will tell you that if you cannot pitch inside, you can't pitch in the big leagues. If you can't get in there, there's another guy that knows how to get inside, Andy Pettitte. But some unbelievable ability to go in and bury guys in on their hands.
Giambi rolls over one foul at the first base line. Can you ever remember very early in a postseason where there have been as many great pitching performances as we have seen around baseball already?
You know, they always say that once the playoffs roll around, the offensive numbers will go down because these teams are facing the best pitching staffs in the game at that point in time. But the pitching duels that we've had, and I truly believe that the lack of offensive numbers we've seen, you know, with disregard to the Cleveland game today, but the lack of offensive we've seen has been because of tremendous pitching, not anemic offense.
2-2 again on Giambi. And the breaking ball stays high and away. 3-2. A good at bat here by Jeremy Giambi. By far the best of any Oakland hitter. And what a patient bunch this Oakland team has been the last 2 years. Ball 4. That's an outstanding at bat.
And it's funny when you talk about the attitude of the players on the Oakland A's and their reputation around the league as a bunch of guys that are too young, have too much fun, and go about things a little bit differently, and then how the discipline changes when they get on the field and play the game, and you realize how well they understand what they're doing out there.
Mussina only walked a little more than 1 batter per 9 innings. Had the second best control amongst all American League pitchers. So a rare walk indeed. And here's Terrence Long. In there a strike. Long homered twice in game 1. He's 4 of 8 in the series. Long, like Tejada, played in every Oakland game this season. Has played in the last 237 consecutively. High drive down the right field line towards the corner. It's Spencer, and that ball is out of play.
Now that was close there, just a long strike. But when you talk about the home runs that he's hit already in this series, Long's home run numbers went down this season over last year. You can't just throw one in his wheelhouse and not think that he's going to take a hack at it.
Saw Roger Clemens there. Joe Torre did not give good news before the ball game today as to what might be the availability of Clemens should we get to Game 5. More on that later. 1-2.
A lot of people will look at Mussina and say this, he does a real funny thing when he goes into the stretch with the big dip. But it's just so that he can take a peek at guys over there at first base. You see him bend way over into the stretch, but what he's really doing is trying to get a better peek at the guy at first base so that he doesn't have to get into the top of his motion, standing there with the pause, and then have to peek over and see what the guy's doing. He likes to get a better look and have a feel for what the guy's doing on first base right there before he gets to that point.
Swing and a miss, and the inning is over. Second strikeout of the game for Mussina. We go to the third, no score. His team is down 0-2. We asked Joe Torre yesterday, what's the Yankee mindset coming into Game 3?
We really can't be thinking too big here. You know, you can't allow yourself to say, oh my goodness, we can't afford to lose, or we have to win all 3 games that are left in this thing, and because then it becomes a little, you know, awesome. So you really have to think in terms of going out there and, you know, winning tomorrow, and just going and taking it one step at a time.
Even at it a little bit longer, they need to win an inning at a time.
So it's been so tough for them to be aggressive because they haven't jumped out to a lead in any of these games. We mentioned in the open, they haven't jumped out to a lead in 76 innings coming into this game against the Oakland A's.
Randy Velarde, a surprise addition to the Yankees starting lineup here tonight. Good breaking ball in there by Zito, and it's 1-2. Velarde came back to the Yankees, where he left 4 years ago. Has only hit 152 since coming back, appearing in just 15 games. But a right-handed hitter against the lefty Zito. In the air, straightaway center field for Damon. One away.
You know, Tom, some people might criticize the fact that Joe Torre made some wholesale changes. You don't have O'Neill in the lineup. You don't have Justice in the lineup. Both of those guys have struggled, both left-handed hitters, trying to get his righties in there. But at the same time, that's also between those two guys, 39 home runs sitting on the bench, as compared with just 10 between Spencer and Velarde. Obviously, he's thinking this is going to be more of a low-scoring game, and you might not need the pop. You need someone that can get on base and figure out a way to push across a couple runs, much the same way the National League plays the game.
Scott Brocious looks at a strike from Zito. Left-hander, a quick worker, and a breaking ball in there, a strike. And if you had his stuff, you would be too. But Justice and O'Neill aren't the only two struggling in this Yankee lineup. You can throw Bernie Williams in there as well. 3 guys that have been in the heart of the order. Now back out of play.
There are the 3 guys, and you look at the numbers. You got bats and the hits. Woo. That's not the Yankee type of lineup that we've noticed in postseasons past.
In the air, Menachino leading off Giambi, 2 away.
Both pitchers right now in some kind of groove, putting the ball where they want to put it. Outstanding breaking pitches. I think that's what I've been most impressed with in the postseason, as we talked before, the crispness of the breaking balls that are being thrown in these games. Very few hung breaking balls. We all know what happens to those.
Now Chuck Knobloch, he reached on an error. Leading off the ball game, an error by the shortstop Tejada, and he looks at ball one. A ball and a strike.
And we talk so much about the shadows. There are shades on the windows out here that they've put. If you can see in this area, these are all shades. It's not lights, it's the reflection of the sun. Huge one right there, back on the game.
Wouldn't you think they'd change those by now?
I think what they said is that most of those shades would be up during the game, but the problem is the people that are sitting in those luxury boxes have opened them only halfway up because that shades the sun from them. Here's the shade in here. The sun's hitting them directly in the eye, so that protects them from the sun a little bit. But it glares back onto the field. Now, it's not directly behind the pitcher, so you have some room out there where you can see, but you can look at Knobloch in his face. The angle of the glare shines right back towards home plate, so you might not be looking directly into it, but you are feeling the effects of it.
Ooh, big breaking ball. Zito didn't get the call.
Boy, when you see a ball that starts up over your head, and that one hung up there a little bit, maybe the only reason he didn't get the call, a little bit backdoor there, might have been off the plate a little bit, but we've seen that pitch start over Knobloch's head and end up at his ankles.
Tried the changeup that sailed away from him there, and Knobloch works a count full. 2 down, nobody on, no score. Top of the third inning. Game 3 in this American League Division Series.
If you're Knobloch right here, you look dead red, and if he throws you a breaking ball, you're gone.
He did get a fastball, and he was tardy on it. Fair territory, Giambi. The first 1-2-3 inning in the game for Zito. Still no score. Mulder and Hudson went the first 2. Zito here in game 3. And they're hoping to paint the town green before tonight is over. Trying to sweep the defending champion New York Yankees. The 3-time world champion New York Yankees. Winners of 4 of the last 5 World Series titles. 0-1 to Ramon Hernandez. And quickly 0-2. Hernandez, 0 for 6 in the series, has drawn a walk when hit by a pitch. And for a guy not known for his defense, he has played very good behind the plate in now 2 straight division series against the Yankees. Thrown out 3 of 5 would-be base stealers.
He's still a very good fastball hitter. You can't make a mistake to this guy or put it in the seats.
So he doesn't get a fastball. 1-2.
You know, we talked so much about how young this pitching staff is. There's Mark Mulder chewing on what used to be a lollipop. These kids are like 14 years old when they're done pitching. They go back and eat candy.
1-2 on Hernandez. And a roller slowly hit up Broch's way. Bare hand throws. And the tag by Martinez on Hernandez. 1 away.
Well, we talked about Brochus winning a Gold Glove last year with 22 errors this season, which isn't bad. I played down there at third base. Boy, I'd be happy with a 22 error season. Right there, barehanding the ball. That's one of the toughest plays in the game, because if you miss it there on a play like that, they probably won't give the guy a hit. They'll give you an error. If it's a guy that's a really speedy runner, then maybe he gets a hit. That's a tough play to barehand and then make a good throw. And you see that throw pulled him up the line a little bit. Bettino over at first getting it done.
Frankie Menechino, 1 of 8 in the series. In there, a strike. Menechino didn't figure to get nearly the amount of playing time that he's received this season. He was the backup for the very talented young second baseman Jose Ortiz, who got hurt, was ineffective, wound up being traded to Colorado in the Jermaine Dye deal. Menachino got a chance to play every day. He wore it out for the first half. Hit under 200 over the second half.
Well, you see that big arm pad that he has on his elbow. He took a shot off the elbow, got hit. He's been hit 19 times. He doesn't mind getting hit. He'll stick his ribs in there. But you see the second half numbers. He said what happened, he's got hit right off the elbow, still very, very sore. He can't extend. So he said people were going away from him. He couldn't extend out there to hit it, and he was like a little baby up there trying to hit, he said.
1-2, and Menachino having words with Kerwin Danley, the home plate umpire.
Well, Menachino's only about 4 feet tall, so he's thinking that this ball's up and out of the strike zone. That's the high strike we've been talking about. Menachino's a little taller than that.
Wow, that is a high strike. Of course, it'll stay there.
Menachino from New York, from Brooklyn, went home when baseball shut down after the attack on the country. Kind of made a surprise visit, didn't tell anybody he was going home to Staten Island, and surprised some of his friends there, and wanted to make sure that everybody was okay. He was pumped to play the series in New York City.
Breaking ball low and away. And we continue to send all our thoughts and prayers to all those brave men and women who are still going through the rubble at the World Trade Center. Haven't forgotten about those at the Pentagon either, or outside of Pennsylvania, and our fighting men and women overseas. In the air, right center field. And Bernie Williams is there on number 2. We asked Art Howe any chance his team could be getting a little cocky up 2 games to none.
I don't think there's any chance of that. We learned a valuable lesson last year playing the Yankees. We won the first game, had the home field advantage, and that disappeared in a hurry. And I just had a talk with the guys. We're going to keep the pedal to the metal. We're going to have to keep playing as hard as we can play, because we don't want to give them a crack in the door. They're champions for a reason.
Art Howe doing a tremendous job with this organization, and has ever since he took over. And he was in a situation when he took over this team in 1996. They were terrible, and there was no light at the end of the tunnel. And he built this franchise, he along with Billy Beane. There was starting to be a little light at the end of the tunnel with some younger talent coming up. Then there was some thoughts that maybe Art Howe would get fired. They decided to hang on to him, and what a blessing too, because he took them through the hard times, and he deserves to be around here to see what this organization has become. That's why he's generally smiling over there.
He looks like he's smiling even when he isn't smiling. He just has that look about him. What a delightful guy to be around. Both these managers. I mean, 2 guys you'd love to have as your father-in-law.
Well, Joe Torre, there's no question about the class that he has brought with him to the Yankee organization since he's been there. And Art Howe, I believe, just needs a little bit more time to develop that type of a reputation, because his team's a good team now. I mean, for so long, nobody cared about the Oakland A's. You didn't know what he was doing with this ball club. That man right there, Jason Giambi, pretty much runs the show, makes Art Howe's job a lot easier.
2 down, nobody on. 2-2 on Johnny Damon, who bounced out to Martinez his first time up. This one a grounder at Soriano. And the inning is over. 1, 2, 3 for Mussina. We go to the 4th. No score in Oakland. The Yankees down 2 games to none in this best-of-5 series. Top half of the 4th inning. No score. In fact, we haven't had a base hit from either team. Barry Zito on the hill, a 17-game winner for Oakland. Mike Mussina, a 17-game winner for the Yankees. And both have been outstanding through the first 3. Breaking ball in there, a strike to Soriano.
How do you hit that pitch? Tip your cap. Hope he throws it for a ball.
Then he comes back with a changeup. Man, does this guy have good stuff.
Well, both of these guys throw so similarly through their delivery. You can't tell when the ball comes out of their hand which pitch it is, because they are exactly the same with each delivery.
Soriano is Mussina. Breaking ball, a changeup, and a fastball into foul ground and into the first row beyond the Yankee dugout. You know, the Zito you're seeing now is not the Barry Zito that Oakland fans saw in the first half of the season. Bear in mind, through the end of July, Zito was 6-7 in 22 starts with an ERA of over 5. But look what took place since then. 11 wins and a 1.32 ERA. He said a talk with his father got his entire year turned around. His dad told him, I don't know if you're just living on what you did last year, whether you're worried about too much what you're doing this year, whether you're overconfident, but you should be a lot better than the way you're pitching.
Got him back to his focus of pitching instead of trying to strike out everybody. Zito was trying to get too many strikeouts. And there's a strikeout. Once he stopped worrying about him, he started getting them again.
Don't forget, tomorrow on America's favorite pregame show, JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris will take a look at 2 NFL players ready to fight for their country if called upon. Then the Monsters in the Midway. And Brian Urlacher, their outstanding linebacker, will be part of our show. Fox NFL Sunday gets underway, noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, only on Fox.
Well, I'm going to look for Jeter to start thinking about the ball inside and cheat a little bit. He's such a great off-field hitter. His first couple seasons, when he was vulnerable to the pitch away from him, he learned so quickly that he needed to be able to inside out the ball into right center field for hits. Then he became one of the best in the game at doing that. Great inside out swings. You think of guys like Edgar Martinez. Think of Derek Jeter too, but they have been busting him in so much. Classic at bat against Hudson in game 2, where he swung at a couple balls that would have hit him. But he said, I know they're going to go in there. Sooner or later, I might have to cheat and look at the pop one down the left field line.
What a selection Derek Jeter was coming out of high school in Kalamazoo, Michigan. The first round pick in June of '92, the 6th pick overall, 5th all-time highest career batting average in Yankee history. And that's just part of the score. Good fastball there on the inside corner. Jeter disagreed.
Well, here's that pitch inside. We talked about guys being able to get in there. Look at that. Jeter, you can see as he's approaching that, trying to get his hands inside that pitch so he can go the other way, but he decides that's too far off the plate for me to hit. It was still a strike.
Zito back with a big breaking ball, and Jeter rolls over it 2-2.
Well, Tommy, you know, when I look at numbers sometimes, they don't impress me that much. I can care less about them most of the time. But when I saw that nobody has more hits in the game since 1996 than Derek Jeter, that's impressive.
Two and two to Jeter. And a liner softly hit at second. And Aquino's there. They just continue to pound in on Jeter.
And they're teasing him with balls away. You start early in the count, that ball away, fouls it off. Again away. Fastball down. Now we're going to start going in on your hands. There it is. You got the strike. In on the hands again. And now Jeter still wants to stay inside the ball, tries to go the other way with it. And it gets in off the fists of Jeter, and he doesn't have enough guts to get it out of the infield. Excellent, excellent pitching.
Now Bernie Williams. He takes high and away, ball 1. You know, I looked at that last pitch. It didn't look as far in as some of the ones that Hudson was throwing the other night. Did Jeter almost jam himself there, Steve?
Only because, you know, his philosophy of the way he wants to try to go the other way. That's what's made him so successful. Sometimes it's hard to get inside that ball. You're trying to pull your hands inside, drag the bat head through the zone, and you can naturally jam yourself a little bit more often. That's why I said when Jeter was talking to me yesterday, he said, sooner or later, I might have to look at that pitch and look to pull it. Well, he did that on the pitch before. Then he went back to his philosophy and said, I got to get a base hit somehow here.
There's a roller up to third, charging hard. Chavez throws backhanded to end the inning. They believe Chavez deserves a Gold Glove for his work at third base this season. After 3.5, pitching reigning supreme in Oakland. Bottom of the fourth inning, Miguel Tejada to lead things off for the A's against Mike Mussina, and it's ball one down and in. Tejada bounced out to the third baseman Brocious, his only time up. Tejada 31 home runs during the regular season to break his own franchise record for a shortstop. He knocked in 115 runs last year, 113 this year. 1-1.
Those are pretty impressive and consistent power numbers, productive numbers for shortstops. And he's one of the guys that's very underrated at that position and very rarely gets talked about when you talk about the top shortstops in the league.
Low and away. Get a look at three of the shortstops in the American League and what they've done over the last 2 years. Tejada a lower batting average than A-Rod or Derek Jeter. Sandwiched in between as far as home runs and knocking on the door of Rodriguez and runs batted in. In the air, left field. Shy of the warning track and on the warning track. Knobloch over to get it one away.
Tejada right there knows that he just missed that one. That's the kind of at bat you have when you have some power. You know it gets in on your hands. You know you didn't get it well enough to get it out of the park. Good balance, just a tad bit late, but he's looking at it right now saying maybe if I just blow on it hard enough I can push it out of the ballpark, hoping that it'll go out of there, but he knew he didn't get enough of it to get it out.
Now Jason Giambi struck out on 3 pitches against Mussina ending the first inning. And the fastball is high. Up and down the Oakland batting order. Players with very good career numbers against Mussina. Not the case for Jason Giambi. We asked Mussina about it yesterday. He said, I had no idea. I don't know if I believe in that.
Yeah. He said, I don't know what his numbers are against me. I think he does. I also think that Mussina is one of those guys that really pitches to his strengths rather than the other guy's weaknesses, though, too. He knows what he has to do. He knows what he can do. I don't know that he really notices the next hitter that comes to the plate as much as he knows what he wants to do with each guy when he gets there.
And you may be asking, well, what are the numbers? 7 of 33 is Jason Giambi against Mussina. Has never homered against the former Oriole turned New York Yankee. Look out here. A 3-1 count. Neither team with a base hit through the first 3.5 innings of play. Anything close, and Giambi's coming out of his shoes.
He might be sitting on something off speed here. I can feel the wind back here after that cut. Talked to Giambi yesterday and he said, you know, my conversations with Barry Bonds, he said, we're very much the same with the way we get pitched to in the lineup. He says, if I miss the one mistake during an at-bat that I can hit, I'm in trouble because they'll either walk me or else it gets very tough. They start throwing stuff in the dirt to me when I get 2 strikes.
There's a base hit into center field by Giambi, the first hit for either team in the game tonight. Right now, let's go back to our studios in Los Angeles. Here's Jeannie Zelasco.
Well, Tom, like the Yankees, the Cardinals were also on the brink of elimination today, using the long ball to fight off the Diamondbacks. Bottom 2, Jim Edmonds with a home run on Friday. Another one today. Bottom 3, Fernando Vina follows the lead. The Cardinals tie up the series. They're off to Arizona. Game 5, presented by Budweiser, tomorrow on Fox.
We'll look forward to that one. Curt Schilling against Matt Morris. Schilling out-dueled Morris in game 1, winning 1-0. Here's Jermaine Dye with 1 on and 1 out, and Dye a base hit into left field. Giambi advances on to second, and here come the A's. 2 on and only 1 out.
Well, this sort of illustrates what we talked about with Derek Jeter playing double play depth. Obviously going to be a little closer to second base anyway. And that's a bullet hit right there. Jeter can't quite get to it. but Jeter does not go to his right nearly as well as he can go to his left because of the bad hamstring. That ball was pretty much smoked, so I don't know if he could have gotten it anyway.
Now Chavez with 2 on and 1 out. First pitch swinging, he had a hearty cut and fouls it straight back. The A's are 0 for 19 with runners in scoring position in the series.
And that's terrible. We know that, but we'd be talking a lot more about it if they were down 2 games to none rather than up 2 games to none. When I played baseball for Boston, Walt Reniak was the hitting instructor there. He said, I'll take men left in scoring position all day long because I know sooner or later we'll knock them in.
Hammered down the right field line, but foul. Mussina got away with one there. But at the end of the swing, it's just a loud strike.
This is a great job by Posada to come out and talk to Mussina because he's made a few mistakes over the last couple hitters. That's a fastball out over the middle of the plate. Watch the balance here. He just gets out in front of this just a little bit. He hits it just out in front of where he wanted to. Now, that's a pretty nice power stroke right there. The mistake, two mistakes in a row to Giambi, and he got a base hit. A ball out over the middle of the plate to die with a base hit, and then that ball right there that just got hammered. Mussina's got to start getting back to the corners.
Way inside. 1 and 2 on Chavez. The A's have had runners all over the bases in this series, but still without a hit with runners in scoring position. 0 for 19. In the air down the left field line, slicing foul and out of play. And the A's were a very good hitting team with runners in scoring position on the year. They hit .273, which was 5th best in the American League. But of course, they weren't having to face Clemens, Pettit, and Mussina every night.
This A's organization was willing to give Chavez a lot of time to mature as a hitter. They always knew he could catch the ball. They said it would take a while to hit.
On the ground, down to first. Martinez goes to second. They get one, and no throw on the return with Mussina covering the bag by Jeter. So fielder's choice by Chavez. Giambi advances on to third. 2 gone.
Chavez is a guy whose numbers have improved every season. Power numbers, RBIs, and average, all of them up each of his 3 seasons. The 30 home runs this season. He's getting to be the type of hitter that they hoped he could, but much quicker than they thought he would.
Runners on the corners. 2 away, no score in the bottom of the 4th inning. And a breaking ball at the knees to Jeremy Giambi, strike 1. Jeremy trying to knock in his brother Jason, who leads down at third. Over at first, it's Chavez. Look at these numbers. What they've done with the bases empty in this series, hitting 4 home runs, and what they've done with runners on base. Good save there by Posada on the breaking ball in the dirt. A ball and a strike on Jeremy Giambi. The A's trying to jump in front yet again. They have never fallen behind in the first 2 games of this series. Two and one. Giambi trying to change that goose egg. Mussina delivers. Too low.
Mussina wanted that pitch. You see him stare in at the home plate umpire after that. Posada sitting away. The reason why he didn't get this call here is Posada has to reach back over to catch it. Wasn't the location he wanted.
And I got to be honest, they're really nitpicking around here with Jeremy Giambi, who's had trouble against Mussina. Long's on deck, and he's worn Mussina out. On the ground, back up through the middle. Soriano jumps, but has time to throw out Jeremy Giambi, and that'll end the inning. So Mussina barking at the home plate umpire Kerwin Danley over a couple of close pitches, but Mussina able to get out of the inning. We go to the fifth. No score. Barry Zito is not allowed to hit through the first 4 innings. No score as we're set to start the fifth. It'll be Tino Martinez, Jorge Posada, and Shane Spencer due up for New York. Martinez hit with the first pitch of the inning, and that one hammered foul. 0-1. Martinez hit leading off the second inning. It's been a big-time season for Martinez. 34 home runs, the 3rd time in his career he's hit 30 or more homers. 2nd time as a Yankee after a disappointing 2000 campaign, and many well aware that Martinez is a free agent at season's end. Well, I tell you, this guy's been a good player for the Yankees. I know they're all talking about Jason Giambi and whether or not maybe they'll go out and try to pursue him. I mean, that's all the talk, all the rumors and so forth, but Tino's been a pretty darn good player for a long time.
Yes, he has been an excellent player, and in Tino's defense of where he plays next year, if the Yankees aren't offering the type of deal, I don't think they're going to offer him the type of deal that's going to want to make him stay here, even if they don't go out and get somebody else. The Baltimore Orioles very interested in him. Tino's going to probably command upwards of the $10 million mark from what I'm hearing from the Baltimore area for 3 or 4 seasons. Brian Cashman, the GM of the Yankees, may not be willing to do that, sitting next to Reggie Jackson. Of course, Rick Cerrone, the PR director of the Yankees as well. Reggie with the New York Police Department hat on.
Of course, Brian Cashman doesn't know if he's coming back to be able to sit across the table from Tino Martinez to talk about a contract. Well, isn't that hard to believe? I mean, it's never me to tell anybody how to run their business, but to think that Brian Cashman, the general manager, and Joe Torre, the manager, winners of 4 of the last 5 World Series, including the last 3. And Joe told us before the game, it looks real good. His contract's going to get done. But it's hard to believe that you'd be talking about the manager of the New York Yankees with all that they've done over the last 5 years on October the 13th, and he doesn't have a contract.
Cashman as well, job security. How can it not be secure in their situations? But George likes to have guys on pins and needles. He likes them to go out there and earn their paycheck every year.
3-2 to Martinez. Line and Barry Zito now that his team is up 2-0. Have they become the hunted rather than the hunter?
I think it might be like that just because we went out and we played them so well the first 2 games. And, you know, they're really raring to get us now instead of the opposite. And maybe how it was for us coming into the series is, you know, these are the big Yanks and we got to take them out and this and that. And, you know, we were kind of the underdog and stuff like that. So I think to an extent, you know, I mean, if you're down 2-0 in a series, regardless of the circumstance, you know, you're fired up. You want to get going. You want to at least get back in the series 2-1.
And that's exactly the way Joe Torre said it. All they're thinking about is winning this game. Worry about tomorrow. The A's would rather have a day off tomorrow. That one launched into deep left center field. And it is gone. A solo home run into left field by Jorge Posada. So the scoreless streak ends at 15 innings for the Yankees. And New York a 1-0 lead.
Well, Posada told me yesterday that he was going to do the same thing. He tried to look for one pitch and try to get the fastball on the inside part of the plate and hope that he'd miss out over the middle with it enough for him to get a good swing at one.
Well, the Yankees have their first lead of the series, and this one's smoked down the left field line by Spencer. And he's on his way to second base with a 1-out double. Well, all of a sudden, 3 hard-hit balls in the inning against Zito. The liner to center by Martinez, the homer by Posada, and now a double by Spencer.
Well, here's the Posada home run that we talked about. Look at the location of this ball. Right down dead central. Posada has become, really a mainstay in this Yankee organization behind the plate after it took so long when Joe Girardi and he were splitting time out over the middle of the plate.
Posada hit 22 home runs during the regular season. The first hit of the game, the first run of the game for the Yankees. That one lined into center field, and Damon's got it. Has to go into the air. Well, the Yankees not fooling around here in the 5th. They're hacking early, hacking often, and hitting it right on the screws.
Well, you get to the point in the game when a guy will start to make an adjustment on what you're doing as far as the pitcher is concerned, and the pitcher has to make another adjustment back. And if you fall into patterns and guys start thinking that they're going to see the same pitch in certain situations, then you have to change your pattern as a pitcher.
Now Brocious with 2 down. Spencer in scoring position. Fastball to knees on the outside corner. The Yankees obviously have not done much offensively. Only 1 of 12 with runners in scoring position in the series. Popped up short center. Damon on to get it, and that'll end the inning. But we'll come back to Oakland 1-0. The Yankees in front on the solo home run by Jorge Posada. So now Mike Mussina, given the 1-run lead, he'll be facing the latter third in the batting order, and it starts with Terrence Long. Long homered twice in the A's Game 1 win. Foul territory, and that one is unreachable for Brocious. 1-1.
There's a home runs he talked about in Game 1, right down the line. He gets it out of there, just snuck it over the fence, and then not a whole lot of question about that one. He hammered it. Really got the A's going in New York City to try to quiet that crowd down, but that usually doesn't work. Not in New York.
Well, they were rocking right to the final out in Game 2 when the Yankees threatened against Jason Isringhausen but could not cash in. Two and one.
Remember last year Terrence Long was the leadoff hitter on this ball club. 2 home run postseason games. You see Long right up there for the rest of the guys here in a A's uniform that did it. That man right there, Reggie Jackson, on the list as well.
In the air down the left field line, coming on is Knobloch. Jeter going out, and Jeter runs it down in fair territory, 1 away. Mussina, 32 years old, the native Pennsylvanian, after pitching brilliantly for the last 9 years in Baltimore, signed as a free agent to come to New York during the offseason. And Hernandez down a strike. His 160 wins over the last 10 seasons, the 4th most in the majors during that span, behind only Greg Maddux and Tom Glavine in Atlanta and Randy Johnson in Arizona.
Well, with Mussina, you can pretty much pencil in 16 to 20 every year. He's one of those guys that everybody talks about who never really gets enough run support no matter where he's playing. Crowd back out of play.
I think hitters are starting to see it a little bit better now as nighttime is closing in. We're still probably a good 45 minutes away from being completely dark.
Yeah, when you talk about when you play the game, certainly the darker it is outside, to let the lights take effect is the best situation. I know I would rather play at night than in the daytime, even though they say that the light only shines on the top half of the ball, so you really only see half of it. I thought it was tougher to see in the daytime with the glare and the brightness.
Breaking ball, strike 3 at the knees, and Hernandez is gone looking. And we're taking a look at our MasterCard fan cam. Over 56,000 here in Oakland tonight.
We saw him out there before the game when we got here 4.5 hours before the game, tailgating. Some of them tailgating without a tailgate.
Right.
They just set up camp in the middle of the parking lot. No car sitting there.
That's a good tunage. 4-1 high to Frank Menachino. Yeah, I mean, they didn't have to wait in line for him to open the parking lot because they didn't have a car.
We literally saw people waiting in line to open up the parking lot so they could get a good parking space. Forget about the seat you're sitting in.
Fouled out of play. Only 2 hits against Mussina. And they came back-to-back in the 4th inning by Jason Giambi and Jermaine Dye. They're here every night. Breaking ball and a dandy. Mussina throws that knuckle curve. He'll throw everything at you.
Just watch where that thing starts and where it finishes. Menachino looking at that thing saying, there's just no way I can hit it. We are seeing 2 of the best curveballs in the game between Mussina and Zito today.
Comes with a high fastball, and Menachino gone swinging. 4 strikeouts for Mussina. We go to the 6th, 1-0 Yankees. Top half of the 6th inning we go, and you get a look at the brackets. Atlanta already sweeping Houston in the National League. They'll go to game 5 tomorrow in Arizona. The Cardinals and the Diamondbacks. Cleveland a surprising 2-1 lead over Seattle. And a surprise to many, not a surprise to some others, that Oakland would have a 2-0 lead over the Yankees. I mean, a lot of people west of the Mississippi, out in this Pacific time zone, some in the Mountain time zone that see the A's play a lot, are not surprised at all that they are leading the 3-time defending world champions.
Was that our October Madness bracket?
That's it
right there. I like that. Well, this is an inning right here where Zito has to regain his control and his composure as far as the strike zone is concerned. You don't want to start off throwing balls out over the middle of the plate to the top of the lineup of the Yankees.
Fouled back out of play by Knobloch, and it stays at 0-2. Knobloch reached on an error by the shortstop Tejada, leading off the game, and then he popped up to Giambi. Tardy on a 3-2 fastball, ending the 3rd inning.
Yeah, I think if you're Chuck Knobloch in this situation, or the situation he had last time, Zito doesn't want to walk you.
Short center field, Damon on to get it. Easy play.
Well, he gets to a 3-2 count. I think more times than not, a guy like Knobloch's going to see a fastball to hit. Make him put the ball in play. If there's any indecision and you're late on a 3-2 fastball, then there should be something wrong there. You might even say to yourself, hey, if it's anything else, if it's a breaking ball, I'm either going to be out in front of it and swing at it, or I'm going to take it. It might be strike 3, but I have to sit dead red in that situation.
Soriano popped up to Giambi, trying to bunt in the 1st inning after Knobloch had reached safely on the Tejada error. And then Soriano struck out swinging in the 4th. Boy, what a fabulous looking young player Alfonso Soriano is. Stole 43 bases. That one popped up. Giambi again, 2 away.
Zito coming back out and reestablishing his command. This is the guy that I think he should be very careful with. We talked about making adjustments. From what Jeter told me yesterday about with the way he is going to have to start approaching some of the at-bats, the way they're trying to get in on him. If he starts looking in, we all know that Jeter's got the kind of power to go out of the park to left field. Zito did a great job of mixing it up last time, going in and away. Started off away and then went back inside to Jeter.
They start him away with a fastball. He was leaning out there a little bit. Strike one. Jeter is popped up to right, lined out softly to Menachino at second, and gets hit with a pitch. Well, hopefully Jeter's going to be all right. That was a fastball that ran way in on him. Not sure where it got him. The hand, forearm, elbow. What do you think?
I think it got him right off the hand. And Jeter looked lazy as far as trying to get out of the way on that ball. It looked like he almost said, okay, this ball's up, I'm going to take it. But watch, it doesn't look like he's really trying real hard to get out of the way. Lazy, kind of let me just get out of the way. Didn't really jump back off of it. That ball just kind of, it's the kind of ball as a hitter you say, get off me. Listen to the way it sounds. Right off the hand area, right below the pinky. Jeter kind of shook it off like a mosquito landed on him.
Tough guy. What a ball player. Thing you love to hear, our conversation with Don Zimmer yesterday said this guy has not changed since day one. Still works as hard as he did when he was a first-year player. Bernie Williams takes time. We've seen so many examples of guys go the other way. Big city, a lot of money, good looking, single, the whole 9 yards, and things go straight south. Not with Jeter.
Well, the thing about Jeter is you just never, ever hear a bad word about the guy. See Jeter trying to peek in to see if he can't steal a sign from Hernandez. A lot of good base stealers will take their lead. They get to the point where they can feel comfortable, and then they peek in to see if the catcher will show them anything behind the plate as to either what sign they're calling or how they're setting up back there. Jeter would love to run on a breaking ball, that big curveball. If he gets a jump, that's the pitch you want to run on. You see him peeking back to the catcher to see what he can learn.
Jeter 27 stolen bases during the regular season in 30 attempts. Zito has fallen behind Bernie Williams 2-0 and a hearty lead over there, and Zito will send him back to the bat. The Yankees stole 161 bases this year. I mean, they're not one of these lumbering American League teams, station to station, and stand around and wait for the home run ball.
Second in the American League in stolen bases. Jeter had 27 on the year.
2-1.
27 with a bad leg. He's had a bad hamstring for a good part of the season. Torrey says that he'll still steal a base every once in a while now. He'll go first to third, but he's just smart about it. He knows how far to push it. He doesn't want to blow it out again because that's a major problem for the Yankees.
Two and one to Bernie Williams, who struck out and grounded out to Chavez at third base.
Jeter's looking for any advantage to maybe get a chance to steal a base. This team has been trying to get to the point where they can be aggressive. Haven't had any leads. Now they have that. They want to keep the pressure on Zito. Zito does not have a great move for a left-hander.
Fastball up, 3-1. Martinez in the on-deck circle was hit by a pitch his first time up, but he lined out hard to Damon in center field in the fifth. Williams has not made contact, at least none to speak of, in 2 at-bats so far. We'll see what's happening on the 3-1. Runner goes. Foul back out of play.
That play was more like a run and hit. Certainly we know what a hit and run is, where you have to steal the base, and the guy has to swing the bat. Run and hit situation to want the guy in motion if he can run, but the hitter does not have to swing the bat. If it's not a good pitch to hit, it ends up being ball 4 and you're out first. If you can take the chance, you see a good pitch to hit, put it in play, and then you got a lot of guys in motion there.
3-2 to Bernie Williams. Jeter will get started with a pitch.
Especially with 2 strikes, Bernie's very good at shooting this ball over towards the second baseman, especially if he's covering.
Good at bat by Williams, and he draws a walk. So Zito putting himself in big time trouble. He easily retired Knobloch and Soriano to begin the inning. Then he hit Jeter, and now he walks Williams, and here comes Tino.
Rick Peterson out to have a little chat with Zito to make sure they know exactly how they want to pitch to Tino.
Before the home run by Posada here tonight in the 5th inning, the Yankees had not scored since the 8th inning in Game 1. Off the bat of Tino Martinez.
What a great year he had for this team, and as you mentioned earlier, I mean, for the run that they've had, and he's always been the mainstay at first base.
2 on, 2 out. Breaking ball and a beauty by Zito, strike 1.
Well, this is no fun to hit when you're a left-hander. Big long arm curve. That ball looks like it's coming out from behind you somewhere. Can't hit what you don't see. A lot of times you say that about a fastball. Not in this case.
0-1. Another breaking ball, and just like that, Zito ahead, nothing in 2. Well, every at bat, every pitch becoming so critical now. Because the way these 2 pitchers are going tonight, you figure it's going to be very hard for somebody to score 3, 2 maybe. You fall behind 3-0, you could be in big time trouble if you're the A's.
Huge at bat right here. Zito probably want to change his eye angle here. Throw a different pitch than the curve so he's not sitting on one.
Blocked by Hernandez, who lost it momentarily, and neither runner will advance. It's a little bit different breaking ball there.
Yeah, threw it away from him, but still a breaking ball. The fear is, as a pitcher, you throw me a couple breaking balls in a row, I keep seeing them. Maybe I fouled one off. I took the first one, I fouled the next one off. I keep seeing that. I get a better view at it. Maybe blow a fastball up and in or away from him, change the eye angle of the hitter, and then go back to the pitch that you don't think you can hit, which is the curveball. You keep throwing them up there. Of course, the opposite theory is you keep throwing them until the guy proves he can hit one, but now is not the time for him to hit one.
Breaking ball is sweeping away from Martinez rather than the big yacker, as they call it in baseball circles. It comes right at Martinez and breaks over the heart of the plate. Big pitch right here. Zito does not want to go to 3-2. There was the big breaking ball. Grounded towards Giambi, inning over. 2 men left. The Yankees have stranded 4, but lead Zito and the A's with the top of the order coming up by a run. Welcome back to Oakland. Game 3 in this American League Division Series. The A's in front 2-0. The Yankees lead here tonight 1-0. Top of the order against Mussina. Strike 1 to Johnny Damon.
Could be a turning point type inning for the Oakland A's with the top of their order coming up. It's starting to get late in the game, but behind in this game 1-0. Need your leadoff hitter on base.
Hard on a line drive by Brocious. He was playing in on the grass, and a rocket right to him, and he was able to hang on. Big play right there.
A great reaction by Brocious. This ball hit a bullet. 1 step and a jump. A lot of times they talk about 1 step and a dive for a third baseman. pretty much figured out why he won the Gold Glove in 1999.
Well, the Yankees making all the plays defensively so far here tonight. And now Tejada. Fastball high. Giambi standing in the on-deck circle. Mussina has only allowed 2 base hits. 1-1 to Tejada. Giambi, a 1-out single in the 4th. He moved to second on a single by the next hitter, Jeremy Giambi. But then Mussina with 2 on and 1 out got Chavez on a fielder's choice and Jeremy Giambi on a ground ball to Soriano to end the inning. Popped up and playable for Soriano. 2 away.
Mussina's pitching such a great game, and we've seen both of these pitchers break off some filthy breaking balls, but at the same time Mussina's throwing a lot of fastballs here. He's beating the A's right now with great location. He's spotting the fastball in and out, up and down, using the breaking ball just to get the hitters off their timing a little bit. But a lot of fastballs, a lot of overhand fastballs from Mussina.
One mistake made by Zito, the solo home run by Jorge Posada in the 5th inning. And here's a guy that's certainly capable of tying it with one big swing of the bat. 0-1 to Giambi. In the air, down to left field line, a long run for Knobloch, crossing, sliding into foul territory, and Knobloch got it. So Giambi retired to end the inning. We've played 6 in Oakland. You're watching Fox Sports, home of the 2001 World Series. We're back after a message from your local Fox station. A nice play made by Chuck Knobloch, ending the bottom half of the 6th inning. So on we go to the 7th. Posada, who accounted for the only run of the game his last time up in the 5th. Ball 1 low and away. One run, 2 hits for the Yankees. No runs, 2 hits for Oakland. 2-0.
Last inning is, or 5th inning. Posada's last at bat, the home run there. Zito knew that he left one out over the middle of the plate. Good hitters hit those balls a long way.
2-1. Rolled over the pitch away from him, did Posada. Even a count of 2-2. He'll be followed by Shane Spencer and then Randy Velarde. Breaking ball bounced off the plate up the first base line, but foul. Well, the wind beginning to kick up a little bit here in Oakland. Here's that play by Knobloch.
Yeah, let's check it out. And let's look at how far he ran to catch this ball. And you know, normally I don't like guys that make slide catches, but that's the place you do it when you're running up against a wall and there's a chance that you could dive right into the wall. Look at Knobloch as he gets into foul territory. He gets up close to that wall, just shoestrings that ball. You see a lot of outfielders come in and make slide catches when I think they don't have to. You should dive for the ball if you're gonna do that.
Hopper at Tejada, fields deep in the hole and shows off that strong arm of his. 1-0. Well, why would a ball be easier to catch if you're diving than if you're sliding?
It's just a more natural action to dive for the ball and catch it. Guys don't do it anymore because they're afraid of getting hurt. Afraid you might hurt your elbow or your shoulder when you're diving, so now they slide on balls. It's a much tougher play to make that way, and it's not as effective either. When you dive for the ball, you can reach much further to try to catch a sinking line drive than you can if you're sliding, because you're technically pulling yourself back away from the ball and catching the ball on your waist.
High fastball, and Spencer went after it. 1-1.
Doesn't hurt as bad when you slide and miss one, or if you dive and catch a ball, it doesn't hurt. If you dive and miss, it hurts a little bit more.
Spencer struck out against Zito in the second inning, doubled down the left field line in the fifth, was stranded at second when the inning came to an end. Torrey getting Spencer the start in right field. Velarde the DH tonight. Justice and Paul O'Neill. O'Neill especially a warrior since coming from Cincinnati in the Roberto Kelly trade in November of '92. Will sit and watch.
Potentially be his last game ever as a Yankee, or anything else for that matter. O'Neill talked all year long saying that he's going to retire after the season. Had another solid season for the Yankees. Talked to him yesterday and he said, you know what, I'm just tired of waking up every morning not knowing if something isn't going to work.
Gone swinging is Spencer. Let's go to Jeannie Zelasco. Hi, Jeannie.
Hello, Tom. Seattle may have the most regular season wins, but just one to show for their postseason efforts. Jim Thome with a solo shot just wanted a season-high 17 runs scored by Cleveland. And now the Tribe have the edge. Meantime, the NLDS, it comes down to this: a clincher Game 5 between the Cards and D-backs. The showdown brought to you by Budweiser, Sunday on Fox.
Can't wait for that game tomorrow night here on Fox. Man, what a ball game that should be. Very similar to this game, you figure. I mean, these two guys tonight each won 17. Those two guys each won 22.
Pretty good year.
Yeah. 0-1 to Velarde. Big breaking ball in there, a strike. Zito is fan 4. He's tied a division series record by hitting 2 batters. He's walked a batter, allowed 1 run and only 2 base hits.
Amazing poise for a kid that's 23 years old.
Did he go? They appeal and they said he didn't go around. Well, now that's a huge break right there for the Yankees. I don't know how in the world you can say he didn't go around.
Well, he starts to swing at it and then he knows that it's going to hit him, or he's trying to get out of the way. There's a little, and then he just spins his body around. Did a pretty good job of holding up on that. Think Zito wanted the call?
1-2 on Velarde. And inside, of course, Zito and Velarde teammates last season. Velarde did a solid job for this Oakland club at second base when healthy enough to play.
Getting up there in age too, still in excellent shape. Was hitting about 300 for Texas when they made the deal for him. Has not had a lot of success with the Yankees.
Still 2-2.
Well, why did that take you such, a delayed reaction on the 2-2 call there? You had to get up from underneath the desk again, didn't you? Because you thought that foul ball was going to hit you.
Dude, this seat only moves so fast. You know what I mean? Here it comes. Rolled foul of the third base line.
These Yankee hitters are just battling against that breaking ball and then hoping to work the count until they can get a fastball out over the plate to hit. That guy got one.
Again, a 2-2 to Velarde. Breaking ball, strike 3, and that'll end the inning. 1-2-3 for Zito. He's fan 5. They stand and stretch in Oakland. Zito locking up with Mussina. 1-0 New York. Bottom half of the 7th inning, we go in Oakland. 1-0 Yankees in front. We look ahead to tomorrow and a couple of different scenarios. If the Yankees win here tonight on Fox Family beginning at 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific, Seattle at Cleveland, Game 4 from Jacobs Field. They're on Fox at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Game 4 of this series between the Yankees and the A's, and we've told you St. Louis and Arizona for sure, no matter what, is going to be on at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, right here on Fox, presented by Budweiser. Now, if the A's pull off the 3-game sweep, we'll have a doubleheader on Fox. Seattle and Cleveland at 4. Arizona hosting St. Louis, 7:30 Eastern. Corey Lytle will get the ball, win, well, not win, but lose for the A's should they do so tonight. Lytle not much talked about in this A's rotation, but he had a solid year, and Orlando Hernandez, pronounced healthy enough by Joe Torre, and El Duque would be here tomorrow.
Of course, Lytle will get the ball either way, because if the A's sweep this series, they're going to send Lytle to the Arizona Fall League to get a start in, just to stay fresh.
Thanks for covering for me, Bigfoot. I appreciate it. Jermaine Dye to lead things off here in the Oakland 7th. Mike Mussina. Hard to believe that he could be a number 3 starter for anybody. Guy, the ace his entire career in Baltimore, and he has pitched like a number 1 starter here tonight.
We're getting out of Mussina exactly what we thought we were going to get. The pinpoint control, varying the pitches, location, where he wants it, anytime.
One to dive. Popped up. Behind the mound, Jeter tucks it away, 1 gone. Take a look at our game summary brought to you by Nissan. Both pitchers have been fabulous. Mussina, 1 pitch better.
Just unbelievable pitching that we've been seeing in the series and all throughout baseball in this playoffs. Posada with the big home run. Giambi and Dye 2 for 6. The A's need to get something going offensively.
Chavez 0 for 2. Takes on the outside corner a strike. Chavez 1 of 11 in the series. He came up there with 2 on and 1 out in the 4th inning and bounced into a fielder's choice. Oh, and 2 just like that.
And that's a big long swing. A lot of times we talk about trying to stay inside the ball. That swing right there, he went way out around the ball, tried to pull a pitch that was outside and away from him.
Now a lot of options for Mussina. Left one out over the plate. Found straight back by Chavez.
Mussina's done a great job of keeping the hitters off balance, but the Oakland A's have not done a good job of what Giambi told me before against Mussina. You have to hit his mistakes. Jermaine Dye saw a pitch in his at-bat right there that he should have hit harder and popped it up. That pitch right there was a good pitch to hit for Chavez.
Still 0-2. Whereas Mussina near perfect back on September the 2nd at Fenway Park. Came within 1 out of recording what would have been just the 16th perfect game in Major League history. Broken up by a 2-out pinch hit single off the bat of Carl Everett in the bottom of the 9th inning. Turned it over there on Chavez, and it's 1-2.
When you think of Mussina throwing a perfect game, the 2 thoughts don't enter your mind very often. Much the same way Roger Clemens often says that he doesn't think he'll throw a no-hitter, because both of these guys throw too many strikes. They're around the plate too much. They don't get up and in on guys. They don't waste time. So they figure they're going to give up some hits during the game.
In the air, short left center field. Ernie Williams now coming in a few paces, 2 up, 2 down. For Mussina, it turned out to be his 4th career 1-hitter. It also marked the 4th time in his career that he had taken a no-hitter into the 8th inning. And that's the most by any active pitcher who has never thrown a no-hitter. So he's dancing around it. Here's Jeremy Giambi. Base hit through the hole in the right field. And now comes Terrence Long. Long struck out against Mussina in the second inning. Mussina got him to pop up to short in the fifth. But coming in, Long was a .500 hitter in his career against the Yankee right-hander.
Well, one of the reasons is because Long's a pretty good fastball hitter. We talked a lot about tonight how Mussina's throwing you the fastball. He's got the other pitches. The knuckle curve that's been very effective. The straight curve ball, if you want to call it that. Change up, but he's throwing a lot of fastballs, and Long's a good fastball hitter.
Off-speed pitch on the outside corner, a strike. Wasn't going to give him that first pitch fastball.
Talked earlier in the game about the ability of both of these teams maybe to manufacture runs, considering that the pitching matchup that we're seeing tonight, the pitching matchups that we've seen both in game 1 and game 2, not a lot of offense. Who could find a way to eke out a run?
And that's why, I don't know about you, Steve, but it has not surprised me at all to see that the Yankees are much better in one-run decisions this year than Oakland. Fastball just off the corner. I mean, if Oakland gets involved further in the playoffs, should the A's advance? If they're in 1-1 games, tight games, I think they have a hard time winning games because they never play small ball, ever. In 1-run games this year, they're only 2 games over 500. The Yankees are 12 over. Now, of course, Seattle's maybe the best small ball team in baseball, at least among American League clubs, and they had an unbelievable year. But they can beat you that way. Oakland has never proven they can beat you that way.
Seattle has a National League type style. Art Howe will look you dead in the eye and say, hey, we're an American League team. We're patient at the plate. We don't hit and run a lot. We don't steal a lot of bases because we want to make you work for your outs. We're not going to run into an out. In that situation, we want to make you throw a lot of pitches.
And I don't think anybody should be fooled here. Cleveland can play some small ball on you, too.
Yes,
I mean, when you got guys like Vizquel and guys like Robbie Alomar and Kenny Lofton, I mean, there you get a look at the numbers. The Yankees, 12 games over 500 in 1-run affair.
Well, you have Johnny Damon on this team that's going to steal you a lot of bases. There he is, but if he's not on base, he can't steal. Giambi on first base right now doesn't have a stolen base the entire season, so you're not going to run. You're not going to hit and run. You got to wait for a gapper.
That is fair down the right field line. Giambi on his way to third, and they're going to wave him around. The throw misses a cutoff man. Shoulder to the plate. Out of the plate. Derek Jeter with one of the most unbelievable plays you will ever see by a shortstop. Both cutoff men were missed. Jeter coming down the line, fielded with his bare hand, a shovel to Posada, and Giambi is out. What an unbelievable play by Jeter. Still 1-0 Yankees. Wow. Well, Derek Jeter not ready to go home quite yet. His team down 2-0. First pitch swinging in the air to short left field. And Brocious retired. That's as good a play as a guy can make.
Tommy, this is unbelievable. First, Shane Spencer does a pretty good job of digging it out of the corner. Then he misses the cutoff man. Jeter comes out of nowhere, grabs the ball with a little shovel pass into Posada. Posada makes the play. This could have been tough on Spencer. Now he airmails everybody. Look at Jeter. What is he even doing over there? He shovel passes it over there like he's the quarterback for the University of Michigan. And then Posada putting the tag. Looks like he gets him on the inside of his right knee. Maybe or maybe not. Definitely touched him on his left knee. Kerwin Danley right on top of that play. My problem with that play right there is you got to slide here. You have to slide. This makes it a much tougher call for Kerwin Danley at home plate. Does he get him right there on that knee before his foot touches the ground?
Kerwin Danley was right on it.
He's right on it, and if I'm the umpire in that situation and it's that close and you don't slide, I'm ringing you up.
Well, isn't somebody there supposed to be telling him to slide? You know, get down, maybe
next
in the background. Fly ball off the bat of Knobloch into left center, and Long squeezes it 2 away.
You ask for it, Tommy, you get it. Let's see the on-deck hitter right here. That's Hernandez saying, get down, get down. Unbelievable, Jeter. Look at this play. It's like an option quarterback. Jeter has no business even being anywhere near that play. Just used his instincts, came flying into the play. Reminds me a lot of the play that he made in the World Series against the Mets last year, where he was down the third base line, spun and threw Timo Perez out at home plate on a ball that Perez wasn't running on. He thought it was a home run ball.
What does Jeter always seem to just step up when his team needs him most? There are players, and then there are special players. Special players, maybe only 2, 3 in a generation, that when on the biggest stage, they play and deliver the biggest moments. And Jeter's one of those guys. I don't think there's any debate about it.
Jeter turned a mistake by Spencer throwing it over everybody into a great play that kept this game at a 1-run lead for the Yankees. You could be talking about a totally different situation if he scores.
Still 1-0 as the A's bat in the bottom of the 8th. Oakland batting in the bottom of the 8th inning. Joe Torre told us if he had a lead late, he wouldn't be afraid to turn it over to Mariano Rivera for 2 innings. And why should he be? 15 of Rivera's 19 career postseason saves have been in appearances longer than 1 inning.
He doesn't generally like to do that with Rivera, but he also knows that Rivera can handle it if he has to.
Rivera's not only been one of the greatest postseason relief pitchers, he's been one of the best postseason pitchers, period, in the history of the game. But now he tries to protect Mussina's 1-0 lead. Olmedo signs will bat for Ramon Hernandez here in the Oakland A. Fastball high.
Tommy, I don't disagree with this move at all. If you've got a guy like Rivera waiting down there, bring him in. But at the same time, Mussina did such a nice job pitching against this Oakland A's team that they're looking at it right now saying, good, get him out of there. Let us see somebody different. Maybe Rivera doesn't have his good stuff today.
Those signs helping out Rivera there, chasing a high fastball. 1 ball and 1 strike. What an effort by Mussina. 7 innings, 4 hits, no runs. He only walked 1 batter, struck out 4. Down 2 games to 0. Joe Torre said we can't win 2 games in 1 game. We can't win all 3 games in 1 day. He said they're going to try and win inning by inning. And as you point out, who could blame him for giving the ball to Mariano Rivera with a 1-run lead in the 8th when you're trying to play another day. And you can tell Rivera a little out of whack. 3-1.
I like that last pitch, up and into signs, no problem. Set up the other cutter. A lot of times he goes within a way with the cutter. Get a guy thinking up and in a little bit. And boy, there's a lot of people out there, a lot of pitchers in baseball that have tried to emulate Rivera's cutter and just can't get it done.
Hardy on a 3-1 pitch is signed. That one at 94 miles per hour from Rivera. Apparently the night is over for Barry Zito. Those are the postseason numbers for Rivera we were talking about.
Look at that number. Wow.
3-2. Lined into right center field, but there is Spencer, 1 away. to remind you, go to MLB.com to bid on special autographed items and game used items currently up for auction to benefit the Disaster Relief Fund. Thank you for your help. Left-handed hitting Greg Myers, who will stay in the game to catch, with Hernandez being taken down for a pinch hitter. Steps up there to bat for Menachino.
Myers is a guy who still has pretty good pop, good pickup for this team. Hernandez, a few days off, light a little fire under his play as well.
1-1 to Myers. Saw Mark Guthrie getting ready there. He'll come on apparently for Zito in the 9th inning. Zito only allowed 2 hits, but one of them a home run by Posada back in the 5th inning. 2-1 to Myers. Pretty hard.
That ball got in on his hands a little bit, but Myers pretty strong. He shot it right back up the middle. Plus, you hit it in an area where it's like nowhere's land there. Jeter trying hard up the middle to try to get it. This ball isn't blistered, but you hit it in a spot where there's nobody standing.
This is the area where it really hurts a team only carrying 2 catchers in the playoffs.
No question about it, because as we talked about before, the ability to manufacture runs, the fact that when that ball was hit down the right field line last inning, you have Giambi running, no speed. Now you have Myers, a backup catcher, no speed. It's going to take a triple to score the guys. You don't have a guy that can you come in, pinch run for him, because you got no other catchers to go behind the plate.
0-1 to Johnny Damon, who's 0 for 3, lined out hard. Right at Brocious in the 6th inning.
Damon just 2 for 13 in his career off of Rivera, but you expect almost everybody that walks to the plate has those kind of numbers against Rivera.
Check swing, and did he go around? They appeal, yes, says Ron Culpo.
No question about this one. This is an attempt at the ball, plus the body turning, the bat out in front of himself. It's a swing.
So 0-2 to Damon. Myers a very short lead over at first. And the Yankees playing this no doubles infield defense. Of course, Martinez has to hold the runner on at first, but look at Brocious. I mean, if Rivera left anything out over the plate, it's easy for me to say, but Damon just put the bat on the ball.
And that's what he tried to do last time, and Brocious made the great play. A lot of times a team with a 1-0 lead on the road late in the game, you want to protect against the doubles. You put the corner infielders on the line. Make sure that nobody hits one down there.
Popped up and playable for Tino Martinez in foul territory. 2 away in the Oakland 8th inning.
Well, that's the pitch that Rivera's famous for. Watch this ball get up and in and just cut in on the hands. Late movement. Damon just flailing away at it and popping it up. I don't feel like the Lone Ranger. He does that to a lot of guys.
Now Tejada.
0 for 3 tonight. 0 for 6 lifetime against Rivera.
Two down, a man aboard. Tejada the go-ahead run at the plate. And he looks at ball one down low. And this is a man that Rivera is going to come after. Very little doubt about that. Tejada figures to get something good to hit with Giambi in the on-deck circle.
That's what makes Tejada so scary with the 31 homers on the season. Cannot make a mistake out over to him.
That's an unhittable fastball right there.
That's sort of the opposite of a Greg Maddux fastball, who will start it inside on the lefties and let it tail back. That one, he started inside on Tejada, raised his hands, thought he might get hit with the pitch or have it be too far inside, and it just cuts over the inside part of the plate.
1-1 on Miguel Tejada. Swings and fouls it away. So now Rivera, a chance to silence the A's here in the 8th inning. You'll worry about Giambi in the 9th. Field, Knobloch, got it into left center, and that'll end the inning. Tejada hit it right on the nose. But the A's lead the tying man aboard. And the Yankees watching that rope off the bat of Tejada. All is right in that dugout. They're hoping for 3 more outs. End of 8, the Yankees in front of the Athletics, 1-0. Barry Zito only allowed 2 hits, struck out 6, walked a man, allowed the home run to Posada. And he'll give way to left-hander Mark Guthrie.
Guthrie did a nice job for this team. Does give up a fair amount of hits. Doesn't walk that many guys. Keeps them in the ballgame.
A couple of other changes. F.P. Santangelo takes over for Menachino at second. And an entirely new battery as Greg Myers remains in the game behind the plate. And Derek Jeter will lead it off for the Yankees. Jeter 0 for 2, hit by a pitch, but made the single biggest play of the night. He's down 0-1. In 1 fraction of a second, perhaps the difference between a season ender and a season continuer. I mean, if that run scores, you never know what happens after that.
Plus, you still have a guy on second base at least, and the inning continues. I mean, we've seen Jeter make some great plays. We've seen him do it in the postseason as well. We mentioned the play in the World Series against the Mets last year when he threw the guy out at home plate. Timo Perez.
In the air, straight away center field.
But Tommy, the instincts involved in this one, just to have an eye for the ball, a nose for the ball. Here comes the throw from Spencer, and you look at the cutoff man, both Soriano and Tino way overthrown, and Jeter came from way over here to make that play, and then he just backhands it into Posada. You know, you just don't make that play. He has no business even being over there anywhere. You know, you always do a double cutoff. That's why Soriano and Tino are over there. Here he throws it over both of those guys' head. There's Tino right there trying to catch it, and Jeter comes from his position to make that play. Just a nose for the ball.
I mean, think of all the things that could have gone wrong for Jeter even after he got there. I mean, maybe he doesn't field it clean. Maybe his throw is 2 inches one way or the other to Posada on that shovel pass, that option pitch. And we're tied. But the guy makes the play.
Did Michigan recruit him to play some football? Because, you know, that's a sweet little option play.
Oh, Schimbeck would drop the ball if he didn't. There's a liner in the center. 2 away.
And once again, I mean, you wouldn't even think of making a throw like that, but he knew that if he tried to catch it, turn and throw it the way you're supposed to throw it, you have no chance of getting the guy. He did whatever he had to do to get the ball to Posada as quickly as possible. Threw a strike, you get the out. It's unbelievable. It's an unbelievable play. There's a great angle right there of the possibility that Posada may not have tagged that front leg of Giambi. But as we mentioned before, that play is so close. And if you're the home plate umpire, if you're not going to make it easier for me to make the call by sliding, you should be out.
Inside of Tino Martinez, you figure Andy Pettitte is just down there getting loose in the Yankee bullpen. His day to throw in between starts. Pettitte may be forced to get the ball in Game 5 should this series go that far. Joe Torre said he just doesn't know physically if Roger Clemens would be ready after injuring the hamstring in Game 1.
Clemens pitches with his legs. That's where his power comes from. That's what's made him such a great success. And when he has leg injuries, he's had a history of groin problems, hamstrings. He's not the same guy.
Of course, it always makes you wonder when you see a guy getting loose in the bullpen. I mean, would they consider bringing him in for a batter? Of course, if you do that, you've taken Rivera out of the game. You figure no way. But we saw Miguel Batista, for example, come in and pitch Game 2 in Arizona against St. Louis in the playoffs. And then Batista started Game 3 and was terrific last night.
Well, Joe Torre said that Pettitte is really the only guy on the staff that he considered bringing back on 3 days rest. So Pettitte may have said, hey, if it's going to be a couple days before I have to go again anyway, and I've got to get some work on the side before I do that, I can get you one out. Nick. Pettitte's a gamer too. I mean, Pettitte's, he has a mild-mannered exterior. He's like, he's like Superman and Clark Kent. He doesn't look like he wants to go out and compete with you, but don't even think for a second that he wouldn't jump into this ballgame if he thought it meant the difference between a win that saves your season or a loss that sends you home for the rest of the year. Pettitte's a good golfer, but he'll wait to make a tee time.
To Tino Martinez. Swing and a miss. The ball gets away from Myers. He picks it up, fires down. And that'll end the inning. So here we go. Bottom of the ninth. The heart of the order. Giambi, Doc, and Chavez against Rivera. 1-0 Yankees. Jason Giambi will lead things off for the Athletics. Home half of the ninth inning. 1-0 Yankees.
Tommy, a lot of home run hitters will tell you that they don't really think about hitting home runs when they go to the plate. They try to hit the ball hard on a line somewhere and hope. Giambi's thinking about leaving the yard right now.
Fastball up and in. The Yankees, who have not but one time before tonight faced an elimination game going back to the beginning of the 1998 postseason. That elimination game came last year in Game 5 and they won. Jam shot roller at Soriano, and he'll throw out Giambi. A huge out for Mariano Rivera to begin the bottom of the ninth inning. An unbelievable statistic there. In the most unbelievable postseason team in the history of sports.
And those are postseason numbers, not just regular season numbers. We're talking about when it absolutely counts.
Now Jermaine Dye, 1 of 3 in a game. Fastball in the inside corner, a strike.
I think sometimes people wonder exactly what a cutter is or how it reacts. The ball just moves a little bit, cuts in on the lefties like we just saw that happen to Jeter, and that pitch right there to Dye just cuts enough to catch the strike zone.
Tried it again and missed. 1 ball and 1 strike. Jermaine Dye hit 26 home runs during the regular season. Andy Pettitte will sit and watch as Rivera tries to close it out into right center field, and Bernie Williams is not going to get it. It goes to the wall. Dye on his way to second base, and he'll stop there. with a one-out double. The tying run in scoring position against Rivera on the double by Jermaine Dye.
Doing what he's done all year long since he got to the A's. Takes that cutter, tries to take it into the right center field gap. Doesn't try to do too much with it. That's a pretty swing from a big lanky guy that shoots that thing into the opposite field gap and ends up at second base.
So now the winning run comes to the plate. Chavez hit 32 home runs during the regular season.
And Tommy, I think because of what Rivera throws, Chavez should be looking to pull the ball.
Low in, ball one. The Yankee season hangs in the balance. The A's with a 2-0 lead. And they have the winning run at the plate here in the bottom of the ninth. Big cut by Chavez, and he fouls it straight back.
Chavez in tonight's ball game has just been coming around the pitches a little bit too much, not getting his hands inside the ball straight through the strike zone. The cutter will eat you up if you don't get out in front of that.
Big cut right there. He turned it loose a little bit, but he's behind 1-2. Rivera, who used to set up John Wetland in the first Yankee run in '96, has been the man the last 3 postseasons. Struck him out. And Oakland down to its final out of the game.
Now this is the 4-seam fastball, the one that he tries to get up in the zone and ride right past you. Pitch looks so good to hit, but you can't get up on top of it.
Chavez 0 for 4 in the game, 1 for 13 in the series.
Chavez showing a little bit of his inexperience as well in a situation like that when all you really need is a base hit to try to tie this ball game. I said go up there looking to pull the ball, but you don't have to go up there looking to pull it out of the yard. Get a base hit, that ties the game.
Now Jeremy Giambi. And a flare, jam shot foul, 0-1 to Giambi, who's had a pretty good night at the plate. He walked in the second, grounded to second in the fourth, and singled into right, was thrown out at the plate when he tried to score from first on the double by Long in the seventh. Tying run at second base. 1-1 to Jeremy Giambi.
Unbelievable consistency from the pitchers that we've seen in the ball game today. That pitch right there, people would say, well, it wasn't a strike, it was a ball. He threw the ball exactly where he wanted to. He didn't necessarily want a strike out of it.
Ground ball right side. Soriano's got it, and the Yankees live to play another day. The 3-time defending world champions down 2-0. Never before in the history of baseball in a best-of-5 format has a team lost both games on its home turf and come back to win the series. But the Yankees still breathing.
Mike Mussina was tremendous tonight. You got to give Knobloch a lot of credit for the 2 plays that he made out in the outfield. Derek Jeter, an unbelievable play to keep the score at 1-0 Yankees. And then Rivera shutting the door, as he's done so many times before.
The Yankees got a total of 2 hits. The Posada home run, the difference in a 1-0 win. We'll be back.